Ebro on the morning, Laura Styles, Rosenberg, T.I. is back on the program.
What's happening?
There he is. I want to get right to the work that you're doing with in Atlanta. I saw you, Young Thug, Killer Mike, and taking initiative to
Young Dolph
support.
as well.
Yeah, Young Dolph, to support black business and black banks specifically. In empowering our communities, right? Because there's several conversations taking place, right? The police brutality is one conversation.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
And then there's also our responsibility to each other in uplifting our communities, which is a separate conversation.
Sure.
Right? I personally don't like to bundle those conversations.
Okay.
Because I feel like
I think that it's,
they can be related,
absolutely.
but
at the root of all of it, it all finds itself deeply rooted in our great separation from one another.
Facts.
You know what I'm saying?
But I don't want
us
people
coming together.
I don't like when people go, well, police are killing black people. Well, black people killing. It's two different things. It's two different conversations. The man with the badge and the gun who has the authority and can kill on his own judgment.
Right.
We shouldn't have to be afraid of that person killing unarmed people
and who has been appointed, to be in a position and a point of leadership.
Right.
But you do seem like you have some hesitation compared to Ebro as far as completely separating.
Well, I mean, it's not that I have a hesitation. I just see, I can see an alternate perspective of that. I understand why he say that, because he wants both of these very, very important topics to have, their own consideration.
Because they need a lot of consideration.
Right.
Absolutely. But I think that these things have one thing in common that could affect them both in a positive way.
And what is that main thing that's in common?
Us uniting and coming together for a greater good. You know what I'm saying? It's like whenever you have a group of a race of people, a group of people, a community of people, a family of people that stick together no matter what, through thick and thin, then it's much more difficult to do these people unjustly. You know what I'm saying? If there's a separation or a disparity between this group of people, then it's much easier to pick them apart when they're separated. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Whether that's from a financial perspective, whether that's from a police brutality perspective, it's easier to do them wrong or to not consider them or to
just take them seriously.
Take advantage of them or not take them seriously if they're all separated. You know what I'm saying?
Well, it's one of the things that obviously there's a huge difference that goes without saying, because when you talk about black kids, you're talking about skin color and people inherently being different. But that being said, to your point, one of the things that I've heard a lot of people from the black community admire about the Jewish community or the gay community is that there is no separation there. Like, Absolutely. You do something, everyone's acting, this is what's happening.
This is exactly the truth about, this is my point exactly. If you were to take any other group of people, and I won't just say race of people, but group of people, because, the gays included. If you were to take them and you were to do them, just treat them despairingly in any way, shape, form, or fashion, continuously, whether it's
not an isolated incident.
Nah, not an isolated. I'm talking
decades.
I'm talking about continuous.
Hundreds of years.
Consistent. No, let's just say 10.
Okay.
Let's just say for 10.
Let's simplify. Ebro goes so deep, he'll go back 400 years. He wants to start. Let's
just say for 10 years, okay? Man, you will notice a overwhelming sense of unity, and there will be some attention paid, and there will be retribution. You know what I mean? I'm talking about whether it's the Latins, whether it's Asians, whether it's the Jewish community, whether it's women, whether it's gays, whether it's, you know what I'm saying? But we are the only ones. I'm talking about we are the only ones that it's all right just to, to mistreat us and have no consideration or accountability for it. No consequences, no repercussions, no nothing. You know what I'm saying? We are the only group of people. And
everybody that killed or was around when Freddie Gray was killed.
Right.
Walked away. So a man died in your custody.
Right.
And no one's accountable?
On purpose, though. On purpose. And that is the thing, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing that allows that to happen is the separation. You know what I'm saying? Like, divided we fall, united we stand, period.
And we can even take it a step further with what's happening with moving money into banks that have interests in the communities that they serve.
Absolutely.
Is the fact that in America, economics plays a big part in your power and influence.
The biggest.
So can you speak to what you guys have been doing in Atlanta?
Yeah, I mean, well, this is an initiative that,
and it's happening in Houston too.
Yeah, in Houston
absolutely.
too.
I mean, well, it's really nationwide, man. You know what I'm saying? We trying to, we just finding the black banks that are willing to partner with the people who are able to move money into their hands, and we banking black, banking small, banking local. And for the purpose of that is, if we move our power, which is our finances, over into the hands of people who are willing to partner with us and who are willing to give small business loans to black people, who are willing to give $80,000 to $150,000 loans for homes to black people, then that allows us to, to build our communities. It allows us to
build credit,
and just, just continue to create opportunities within our own communities the way that others have been able to do for generations. And I think that nobody has ever, at least in my lifetime, set that initiative and said, this is what we need to do, and been specific enough about the directions of what it is to do in order to accomplish anything. So, you know what I'm saying? Hats off to my brother, Killer Mike. And honestly, man, him and Usher came to me about 6 months ago. You know what I'm saying? It was kind of the day of. Usher kind of hit me like on a Monday to be somewhere Tuesday. And you know what I'm saying? But I didn't make it. But, they've been on this. But, right now, I'm really like, whatever initiative anybody around me got going on, man, I'm going to assist it as long as I can trust what this person stands for and what they represent and I believe in their integrity. And, Killer Mike and, the rest of us, I think that's what we setting out to do, man. Not only, us as friends, but the people who, like, for instance, like, I just called Dolph yesterday on the humbug. I actually went and picked Thugger up. I was like, hey, man, I'm coming to get you. Just grab some money. I'm coming to get you. And so, you know what I'm saying? And we just went up there and really, it was spur of the moment, but I think it was impactful because people, like the people in the bank said, oh, okay, so they serious. You know what I'm saying? Like, and it ain't really no sweat off our back, but if we move enough money into these banks, it will create opportunities, not just for us, but for people that look like us to do things that they probably would not
and
have
live
been able
next
to
door
do.
to us.
Right on. And it will affect our
and
community.
go to our schools.
Absolutely.
And et cetera, et cetera.
And whose children will be raised with our children. You know what I'm saying? So opportunities created for them create a better world for their children to live in, which kind of creates a better world for our children to live in, because if these children don't have proper opportunities, then they become the people who will potentially rob our children.
And all of this plays in, and this is where the conversations crossing makes some sense, I guess, because by doing this and by stabilizing communities and by creating more opportunity and creating a safer environment, you make the conversation easier that the community then needs to begin with the police who are trying to police these neighborhoods, because there's obviously already an issue here that the president tried to speak to last week as delicately as he could without having people come for him, about that there is a fear of black communities that we see from the police.
This is true.
See, here's another thing too. Like, and I'm gonna hold off, and you guys are asking me to hold off, and I'll continue to wait, but I'm gonna pepper it in there. The fabric of our country and white supremacy in this country, and the conditioning of all of our minds to fear black men is something that, whether you're ready today to talk about it, but I'll be here in a few years when you get ready, right? Because that is a piece of this. Because there are individuals that are carrying badges and guns.
This is true.
That come from families and upbringing.
This is true.
Where this type of thought process is a part of
intrinsic.
their dinner table.
Yeah.
Hey, how about this,
normal
man?
to them.
How about this? This is the way America was set up, okay? I mean, and I'm going to just keep it all the way 1,000 with you, okay? You cannot start something with negative intentions and end up in a positive place.
Well, positive for some and negative for the rest.
No, I'm just saying negative, period. Like, if you know what I'm saying?
Right, it's negative.
If you have malicious intent from the beginning of something, it cannot end up in an honorable, positive place. Like,
especially without addressing what happened.
I mean, yeah, you must make amends. You know what I'm saying? You got to make amends and you got to move. But I think that the thing is, nobody wants to be held accountable. There's these atrocious acts and these moments in time of detriment that were caused by one people against another, and nobody wants to be held accountable. Nobody wants to say, okay, you know what, that was dead wrong and we're sorry and, we need to move forward in a different light. And like, nobody wants to do that. Everybody wants to, yeah, you know what, that was old.
So long ago.
Yeah, so long ago. We don't have to worry about that. No, but you do, though, because without addressing it, you move forward in the same thought or in the same practices as before. You have to denounce that in order to move forward with a clean slate.
But how ill is it that you're talking about it on a macro level, right? Like the way the country was started.
Right.
Fast forward to what we're talking about right now in that conversation I had on the radio with the police officer. It's still about acknowledging wrong.
Absolutely.
Even on a small, it's the same thing. It's accountability means so much. People know cops are going to make mistakes.
Sure.
Of course they do. They're human.
Sure.
They just want to hear you acknowledge the mistakes and do better.
Yeah, that whole see, now this is what I don't understand. From a police standpoint, okay, you're looking at the police, and the police always come out and they always speak and say, hey, you see something, say something. Help us bring these people to justice. And you know what I'm saying? They've been promoting, they had a marketing campaign on snitching. You know what I'm saying? Like, so how in the hell can you have that be your practice or your perspective, and when it comes time for you to do it, to your own. So you want us to tell on our own, but you get to keep your own safe and protected. Now that just doesn't seem, once again, it's just not fair. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
and it just doesn't make sense.
The basic principle of human decency is you do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So you can't have me do something or practice in activity that you are not willing to practice yourself. That's called hypocrisy. You just
so basic, right?
You can't
basic.
do that. You can't do that and expect me just to roll with it. You know what I'm saying?
And I think also the sad part about it, because now that we've been having these conversations, I've actually spoken to police officers and friends of mine who are police officers who are scared, to be honest, and they'll admit it that we're scared to come forward and say it because of the consequences that will happen within their
Really? I've heard that before.
Now listen, let's be all the way clear. Once again, the basic principle of how the thought or ideology of police officers began. They were brought together as a unit to catch runaway slaves, okay?
Overseas.
You know what I'm saying? That's what that's what the origin of police officers in the United States were. Okay, so that basic principle is pretty much still intact the same way it was upon origin. You know what I'm saying?
And they continue to promote it where they get on the mic and they acting like there's an uprising against them.
Yeah.
They're trying to take us out.
I really need you to hear some of this material that I have because it addresses a lot of these, issues that we're speaking of. We can listen to it later. But I mean, I heard Malcolm X speak, and he was basically saying that all of these steps that we've taken to address the race relations or the problems with race in America, we've taken all these steps. All these different people came and said they had, they have a vision to get us to where we need to be, and and to be honest with you, we still here. You know what I'm saying? There's nothing has been done. And he said this. He basically, at the time when he was speaking, he said, it's been 100 years and we're still in the same position we was in then. And so that was 60 years ago. So that's 160 years. Like that, if America wanted something to change, they know they can change it. You know what I'm saying? When they wanted to change gun violence in New York City, they got it changed. You dig what I'm saying? When they wanted to change the crack from being sold on the streets or the crack epidemic, they knew how to change it. If America really wants something to change, they know how to change it. I think this is kind of a part of whatever the underlying plan is for, what...
It's called white supremacy, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to be politically correct about it.
Well, what I've tried to do over the last few weeks is have an exercise where the term white supremacy, people don't think that you're specifically talking about the KKK. because that's not necessarily what you're always talking about.
But it's most likely not what you're talking about.
But
the
KKK
it's in there.
It's a derivative of that.
It's in there. It's
Yeah.
cousins.
It is a derivative of that.
But the reason I'm saying
cousins.
that, is because there are people, and not just white people who consider themselves Americans.
Sure.
Right? That don't understand that the fabric of this country was based on
White
a group
supremacy.
being all men are created equal except for these people. So you had to do social engineering and condition people to accept the reality that you could treat someone differently and it would be okay.
See, that's the thing though. Like it's an oxymoron. You know what I'm saying? Like for you to say all men are created equal, but not y'all. Like that's a contradiction within itself.
And that's how it started. And that's how we started.
But that was the trick, is then they had to condition the public.
They just meant the people in the room, I think. Like when they was having you know what I'm saying? They meant
all
like,
of us
all
men
of
are created
these
equal.
people in the room are created equal. You know what I'm saying? Like, because there was probably some slaves out back, like, no, hell no. That shit don't sound right.
What are they talking
it's
about?
like, what do they mean? We're not created equally.
Well, I
You
heard it
know?
yesterday at the convention. I was listening to stupid ass Ted Cruz talk, and he had this line where he goes, "You know, this country's based on 5 words. I want to be free."
Get
And
out of
I just sat there and I was like, but it's true. They were seeking religious freedom. And I'm like, but you instantly started out with, wow, now that we're free from the English, you know what we need to do? Get some people and make them not free. And we have, like you said, Tip, we have to acknowledge that's the foundation. We can't move forward till we acknowledge that and then start taking these steps. I'm starting to believe, I am noticing though, at least in my tiny stupid world, more white people actively reaching out and wanting to understand it. Now that's in my liberal
that's
ass New
great.
York world.
That's great.
But it's we have to get somewhere where people start calling people out for their stupid ideologies. And like the woman we talked to said, Jane Elliott.
Oh, Jane Elliott, that's my WCW.
Jane Elliott said she said it
she
only
liked
takes
it.
she said racism can get raised in your whole life, or it can just take 1 30-second conversation with a grandfather that you look up to.
Right.
That can make you racist for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
And that's some deep shit.
I mean, but you know, when y'all was speaking to her, it made a whole lot of sense just about if you are the majority, it's easy for us to speak from the minority's perspective because these are things that affect us in a specific way. But if you are the majority, all right, in something, and you want to remain the majority, you want to remain the dominant gene or race or group in this particular area, it's best for you to dilute the importance and the value of everyone else but you so you can remain dominant. Like, that's really what it's about. Like, it's really like, you know what I'm saying? It's all of us on the playground. We want to run the swings, okay? We want to run the swings. Y'all can play on the playground, no problem. Everybody gets to play. But we will maintain control of the swings.
Yeah.
Now, if we just let anybody come up to the swings anytime they get ready to,
Loses its
we
value.
will lose control of the swings. So for us to maintain the dominant control over the swings on the playground, we must say that it's free for everybody to come to the playground. No problem. We welcome everyone to the playground, but let's watch who gets on these swings. Right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's pretty much the premise of how America operates. They want the image of freedom. They want the image of a democracy.
Well, that's part of the promotion that keeps people wanting to come.
Absolutely. They want the image of the greatest nation. They want the image of equality, but they are not willing to sacrifice
and do the work.
The dominance. You know what I'm saying? They're not willing to become, equal in real life. You don't really want to be equal. You just want to say you equal while you're really dominant. You know what I'm saying?
You don't want to actually look up and see that the president of the United States is black and treat him like the president of the United States.
Exactly.
Or the president of the United States is a woman.
Or that the president of the United States is a woman.
Yeah, all of the above. All of the above. I mean, I just don't want the president of the United States to be a fucking asshole.
So simply put, that's all.
Yo, T.I., man, let's get a record on for the people, man. You got this collab. You did this amazing record with Dr. Dre, amazing video as well. You got a project coming out. Right. Paint the picture. What's the whole plan? What's the name of the project? When's it coming out? Give us the whole thing.
Okay. Well, you know, that record that Dope is on, man, the one that Dr. Dre, man, so graciously contributed.
Yeah.
This, you know, this masterpiece. It's called The Dime Trap. It's my 10th project, and it's dedicated to my day one fans. It's in my eyes, the second coming of trap music. Now, before you hear The Dime Trap, where I will say, and I'm making an announcement here, I will be releasing a project next week that, you know, it is completely surrounded or inspired by the events of the state of the nation right now today, and it's called Us or Else. And you know that's in equality for us or else, unity for us or else, stop killing us or else. I mean, it's basically, you know, my take on the things that are going on, how we got here, why we're here, speaking to the oppressor, and, you know, just trying to just drop some, just put something out there, a platform for people to speak so we can move past it, so we can address it, move past it. Because it just don't seem like ain't nobody, I can't really go in the studio and make records, you know what I'm saying?
About other stuff.
About throwing money up in the club and, you know, having a good time balling and, you know what I'm saying? I mean, it just don't feel responsible right now.
Do you look at you, and I'm sure, I mean, you're a father of, how many boys you got?
I got 4.
4 boys.
Yeah.
And so I'm sure you at home at the dinner table, you look around that table and you're like, these men about to go out into the world.
Yeah.
And I got to do my part to make sure these men are safe.
See, yeah, I always go at it with all of my children's, at least my sons, all my sons' mothers, because I started raising men from day one, you know what I'm saying? They don't get no real cute time with me. You know what I'm saying? Like my daughters, I do that with them, but my sons, because the world ain't gonna do it, you know what I'm saying? The world ain't gonna treat you, you know, like you cute. I don't care if you cute. Get your ass in here and take this trash out. You know what I'm saying? Like that's just, that's how I am, because I know that, for one, I know you gonna be blessed with the gift of gab. You gonna have charisma. You gonna be good looking. So you gonna think that you can get by on a lot of stuff. And when you try it, it's gonna work on most people. You need to see that it don't work on somebody, so you'll know how not to try it. You know what I'm saying? So you'll know when you gotta go ahead and do the right thing, whether you want to or not. And I think that comes from the home first, because, you know, I know the first time I learned that was out in the world. You know what I'm saying? Like, I never got treated in my home the way I did when I had to go face polices in the neighborhood. You know what I'm saying? So I want my kids to know how rough it get before they get there.
That's right. You saving lives doing that.
I mean, I'm trying.
Preparing them.
But you know, now really, like they mama really be on me. Like, you know, why you treat my baby like that? Man, your baby got to be a man in like 17 years. He's gonna be.
But time is ticking. We gotta get this right.
Time waits for no one.
Yeah.
He is 2 years old, and the world is waiting to chew his ass up and spit him out.
Facts.
If I don't condition him and prepare him. So step aside, ma'am.
I'm excited. I'm excited to hear this project next week too, because while you've had moments certainly where you've said important things, you have now for many years, since you've been back on the scene, this most adult version of T.I. has been one of the best thinkers we have. But a lot of what we get is in interviews. I'm excited to hear a dedicated project, to hear what you do when you're putting all of you on a record. It's an exciting thing to hear.
Right. I mean, man, you know what? I ain't gonna tell no lie, man. You know what I'm saying? I for quite some time, and and soon after this, we'll be again financially motivated. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And I make songs. Like, for instance, New National Anthem on the last record, it was a record that was totally dedicated to this particular topic in the state of the nation and so on and so forth, and got very little attention because radio stations were scared to play it. And I know that, so I'm not going to force any information or any topic of discussion on any place that I'm trying to create financial prosperity from. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna try and keep it light, sweet, and easy for you, so you can go ahead and part ways with that currency, so I can go and continue to feed my family and maintain this lifestyle.
Yeah.
But you know what I'm saying? But ultimately, I
part
feel,
ways with your currency.
Yeah, you got to, man.
Only
you know what I'm
T.I.
saying?
talk. Hashtag T.I. talk.
Hey, man, but I mean, I think right now I feel somewhat of it's just an internal obligation. You know what I'm saying? I feel like I've never really felt a social responsibility before. Like when I say things like, I can't say that right now. You know what I'm saying? I never really felt like that before. And that creates a bit of a writer's block for me. When I can't go talk about money, guns, and drugs and women on records, it just creates a very difficult space for me to operate in. So I need to get all this out my system so I can go back to the bullshit.
But do you feel like you've been inspiring someone? Because we see you protesting, we see you out on the streets. Because I'm pretty sure there's some artists who would like to get more involved, but it's not necessarily
Just get your ass out there. Just get your. But if it ain't in, you stay home. That's the first thing.
But have artists reached out to you and spoken to you about it?
I mean, I can. Yeah, I guess. Sure. Yeah. I mean, man.
You sound so sure.
I mean, nah, man. You got people who say, man, I wish I knew you were going, man. I would have went. I was like, yeah, well, I didn't even really know. I just got up and got out in it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I just, got tired of seeing bullshit happening on the TV and sitting in the comforts of my mansion and not doing anything and not, just talking about how bad it is without doing anything about it. So, I decided to I called the people who I knew, who was on what I'm on. And that's David Banner and Killer Mike. And you know what I'm saying? And we had plans to come together and put together programs and just have platforms for discussions and just, mobilize and unite. But I wanted to individually just get out there, man. Me and my son, man, we was on the way. I was like, man, nah, man, we finna go. We finna find somewhere to be active. Some way to be active. We gonna get out here. And that's what we did.
Do you ever, when you talk about getting back to the bullshit, it's easy for us sitting in this room, that don't necessarily have to deal with a lot of the shit going on in the streets because of our wealthiness sometimes, or, the places we live, geography-wise, we not getting the pressure.
Sure.
Because, it is easier and more fun to talk about women, money, cars, clothes, getting high, and traveling to exotic destinations.
I mean, this is the most fun one can have on the record. You know what I'm saying? I mean, you can't think of anything funner.
But it's interesting to hear you try to, and I think you're doing it in real time right now. I'm watching you think.
I did this whole project in a week.
Yeah, but to reconcile the fact that in your spirit still, you still want to go have a beverage and smack her ass and go to the strip club.
Yeah, that's the thing though. Like everybody says, man, T.I., you a God-appointed leader, man. You have to lead the charge, man. You are a revolutionary. I say, listen, man. I just have not found it in me to dedicate all of my time. You know what I'm saying? I will sit down and have a very, very introspective conversation with anybody who cares to listen. But when I'm finished with that conversation, I'm going to go to the strip club. You know what I'm saying? I have my vices. My flesh is weak.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I am a human. I am a sinner. You know what I'm saying? And I just feel like America has, for so long, they have kind of picked apart our leaders based on their inability to be perfect. You see what I'm saying? I don't ever want to put myself in a position where people expect me to be perfect because I'm never going to be that. You know what I'm saying? I'm always going to have what we call T.I. moments. You know what I'm saying?
Human moments.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? That's going to be me. But but at the same time, that does not discount my contribution to society. That does not discount what I have to offer the generation, what I can do to push us forward progressively. You know what I'm saying? With my experiences, with my thoughts, my opinions, what, my wisdom can do to help the next generation, this generation, or the previous one. You know what I'm saying? That does not take away from the sincerity and the passion that I have for wanting to see my people in this nation do better and be treated equally. So don't hold it against me when you see me on some ignorant shit. You know what I'm saying? Because it's gonna be a time. The time shall come. Just remember this. Let's appreciate this moment. You know what I'm saying? Let's
and by the way, and understand that it's there when it's time to make a statement. T.I. can make a statement.
Absolutely.
But you're being honest about who you are as a person.
Absolutely. Now one day I may make it to a place where, you know what I'm saying? Well, I say, you know what, man, it's time out for all the bullshit, and I'm just gonna be,
this guy.
Yeah.
This version of you.
I mean, but who knows where that may lead me? It may be politics, it may be philanthropy, it may be some form of a ministry. I don't know what it's gonna be. But for right now, it's trap music. You know what I'm saying?
And there's a new project.
Right on. Yeah, this particular project is called Us or Else. And you know what I'm saying? I mean, a lot of my corporate constituents may be a little uncomfortable when they hear some of this material, but it is, well-deserved and much needed for the progression of my people.
And it's a conversation that must be had.
A conversation that must be had.
And expression, too, and emotions that people are actually feeling.
I think I'm saying some things that a lot of people may, want to say, but may not want to, risk their corporate partnerships. You know what I'm saying? Me, myself, personally, I think, maybe about 1 or 2 Fed prison sentences ago, I kind of disqualified myself from a lot of those corporate partnerships. So I, you know what I'm saying? I'm not really,
beholden to that.
Yeah, you can't hold me to that.
That's a silver lining.
Can't miss something you don't got.
Yeah, well said.
What record should we play off this, man?
Man.
Pick one, go.
We Will Not.
We Will Not.
Yeah.
All right, let's do it. Us or Else is the project next Friday.
Yes, sir.
Next Friday. His name is T.I., man. I always appreciate seeing you.
Thank you, Tim.
My pleasure,
salute
man.
to the new addition to the family.
Man,
I know. Congratulations.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Eris Diana Harris.
Eris Diana Harris.
Eris Harris.
It's almost a bar. It's almost like a rhyme.
Almost a bar. Yeah, she's gonna be the rapper. She
definitely loves listening to music. She can be crying and you put Prince or Jane Brown on and she will be quiet.
There you go.
Do you and Tiny have conversations about continuing to have children? Where are you guys at in that? Oh.
I mean, no, we kind of good, you know what I mean? 7 is a good number.
Fantastic.
I think 7 is a good number.
God number,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I mean, you know what I'm saying? We're in the 5th season of Family Hustle, and we have 7 children. And I think that that's like a nice round number. You know what I'm saying? It's a number of completion.
So you gonna do the little snip, tie it up?
Who?
You.
No, I ain't got it. I just got to not do it. I just,
What about Tiny?
I mean, I don't want to get into that.
Yeah, they're going to figure it out. They're not going to have more, okay? That's it. They'll figure it out. There's a lot of methods, bro. There's a lot of methods.
I'm just trying to learn, man. I'm just trying to learn how you do it at that level.
I don't want to get into that.
So you haven't had the conversation about, wrapping up the tubes and you tying things up, but it is all on display on Family Hustle.
Yeah, on Family Hustle, man. We actually, the 5th season, man, along with all of our other normally scheduled Harris family activities, we lead up to the point where we discover Eris is on the way.
So we get to see that whole process.
Yeah. Actually, I mean, just like right at the end there, you know what I'm saying, is when it's actually revealed.
And the season's already started?
Yeah, it started last Monday, man.
Yeah.
Thanks for everybody who tuned in, man. Monday at 9 p.m. on VH1.
Well said.
You know what I'm saying? We got some dope numbers. You know,
people love seeing your family, man. They love your kids, your boys.
It's also positive, though. It's also really positive and fun.
I appreciate it.
Yeah, and fun. And I saw that you're producing to Sisterhood of Hip Hop.
Yep, Sisterhood of Hip Hop, man. We on our 3rd season. It's that's also a blessing on Oxygen. I appreciate all the support from that, and it's just interesting, and it's dope to see these young ladies who just courageous enough to follow their dreams and just face whatever adversity is coming at them, and whether they do it separately, together, or, you know what I'm saying, like whatever they face, it's interesting to watch them do what they got to do to break into this male-dominated industry.
That is T.I., man. It's good to see you, sir.
Likewise,
we didn't talk about Iggy Azalea. We didn't do that this time around.
I mean, man.
Are you guys still working together?
Sure. I mean, whenever she's ready to work.
Okay. And salute to you and yours.
Hey, man, likewise in return, sir.